Good day, Stephen Davis here. In this video, I want to continue with the videos on harassment. And then a major defense that you can use is that generally my actions were rational and reasonable. Please read the indemnity and the warning and familiarize yourself with it. And if you need special advice, then you go to your lawyer. You say that your actions were rational. This is part of the foundation. Rational and reasonable. Not necessarily rational, but let me rather rephrase myself. Actions were rational, and it is more a start, a very good start, if you can say my actions were rational. Now I'll provide you with a simple and everyday definition of the rational versus a more technical thing. A rational action is there must be a logical connection with something. A logical something. And the action must be of the mind. I thought about it. And there must be one thing flows out of the other. As a rational. And reasonable, on the other hand, is more a higher thing. Higher thing, the action of love and life and morals, and the reasonable is more at a higher level. And for the act, it's very important that activities must be reasonable or unreasonable. Just important difference between the two. An action may be rational, but what it is may not be reasonable. And I will discuss this difference later on. Rationality is an extra layer of defense. It's just an extra layer. It's not a major defense because the PHA does not require that an action must only be rational. It has a quite higher level of standard, and the higher level is an action must be reasonable. Oh, actually, if you can say my action were rational, I thought about it and it's good. Anyone else about it? It's a very good start. Now, a decision may be rational, but it may not be reasonable. I just want to clarify these two so that you understand the differences, and this is extremely important because an action must be reasonable according to the law. Allocating resources based on a strict criteria. An example is a government department is tasked with distributing housing subsidies to low-income groups. To streamline the process, the department decides to allocate subsidies only to families with a monthly income below 3,000 rand, excluding those earning even slightly more, 3,001, 2,009. But we still suffer, man. It's just 1 rand more. No, you say that is rational. It's based on a clear, logical criterion, the income threshold. To achieve the goal of targeting the poorest families, there is a coherent connection between the means, your in-subcontract, and the end. That is we want to assist the poor, and there's a cutoff. This is clear, unreasonable. But the same action can be unreasonable. However, the decision may be unreasonable because it excludes families earning marginally more, 3,001 rand, who are also in dire need of assistance. The strict cutoff may be seen as unfair, disproportionate, even if the difference between 3,000 and 3,001 rand is negligible. It's negligible, but that's so. Understand? It's not right. It's not fair, man. It's 1 rand. Another difference, to illustrate the difference between rational and reasonable, you ban all public gatherings for safety reasons. A municipality imposes a blanket ban on all public gatherings in a specific area due to concerns about public safety and crime. The ban applies to all gatherings, regardless of the size, purpose, or the precautions taken by the organizers. It's rational. The organizer is rational. The decision is rational because it's logically connected to the goal of ensuring public safety. The municipality can argue that banning all gatherings reduces the risk of crime and incidents, and there's a clear link between the measure and its purpose, between one and the other. This is what I want to do, and this is what we are going to do. it may be unreasonable. However, the decision may be unreasonable because it is overly broad and disproportionate. It fails to distinguish between high-risk gatherings, large unregulated crowds, and low-risk gatherings, small community meetings, where safety measures in place, church gatherings. The ban may unjustifiably infringe on constitutional rights, such as freedom of assembly without sufficient justification. You understand? So you can be rational, but it's not necessarily reasonable, loving, taking higher values in consideration. Now, to further illustrate the difference between rational and reasonable, a decision is logically an action of the mind connected to its purpose. That's rational. But reasonable is it's much more, it's broader, it's a value thing. A decision is fair, just, proportionate in its circumstances. A standard used for rationality is objective. It focuses on logical coherence. Okay, that is 3,000 rand more. Doesn't matter where you are, a gathering. Reasonable, on the other hand, involves a value judgment. What is fair? What is just? What is correct? An example is, as we said about rationality, is allocating resources based on a strict criteria. It's logical, but can be potentially unfair. Everyone, you get the help. If you get 3,001 rand, you're cut off. You say, okay, man, reasonable is fair. Let's adjust the criteria to ensure fairness and proportionality. If you have a problem about, you just fall outside that 3,000 rand category cutoff, come to us, approach us, write a letter, and we consider that's reasonable. Here we have just some legal documents as you can go and see that the difference, if you want to cite a thing about rational on the one hand and reasonable. A thing can be rational, but it's not reasonable. I just want to, at this stage, say, if you argue your actions were rational, it's a good start. It's a good start in your defense, but it's not enough because the law of harassment focuses on reasonable. I just want to emphasize, rational and reasonable are two very important concepts. The most important concept is, however, reasonable, because the law provides that your actions must be reasonable or unreasonable. But rational is a very good start. You can say my actions were rational. I thought it through. And that's a very good start. But you can't only focus and rely that your actions were rational. Now, harassment involves inherently unreasonable behavior. Now, this is according to the Act. And now, what is the difference between reasonable and unreasonable? Okay, we focus on this too. In order to understand the Act, the requirement of the Act that an action must be unreasonable in order to constitute harassment. Reasonable, simple terms, is an adult in the room. Use a person using common sense. Unreasonable is to act like a spoiled brat, just want your way. There's no thought in it, just like a baby. That's my common understanding. Now, in order to understand what's reasonable, I further want to contrast it with other concepts. This is an extremely important thing in the definition of and in your defense. Your unreasonableness, as we described, is irrational, it's disproportionate, it's unfair, you didn't think it through. And whilst on the other hand, reasonable, it's fair, it's balanced, it's justified. I can say what I done. You can also contrast it with arbitrariness, without justification, so random, just like a lotto. I do it, and then I don't do it. And reasonable is based on logical, and I can understand it, I can explain it. This is a reason. It's irrational. It's lacking a logical coherence. It's just up and down, up and down. Now, reasonable is sound reasoning. I can explain everything that I've done. And then also, you can contrast it with disproportionality. Ne? It's excessive, unbalanced actions. The person didn't greet me and I want to slam him with at work with a disciplinary action, taking away money, deducting, simply because he didn't greet me, despite me. Reasonables require proportionality. If I say people must smile at work with people, then okay, man. No, okay, you get a warning and you get slowly, but not out of proportion. And then you can contrast the reasonable with bias and prejudice. I favor this one. For the one person, I give a smile for the same action. Make an example, the person doesn't greet me. And the one person I want to eat with, I am, and the other one I just want to say, no, man, behave yourself. Reasonableness requires impartiality. What you do to the one, you do to the other one. Everyone, you draw the same line under. Negligence, you can contrast reasonable with negligence. Negligence is you don't take a standard of care. This is what we must do, and according to those standards, we must every time meet at a certain time. Every time, this is our rules. So you follow that. Reasonableness, no, human. There is an accepted standard, and we follow that standard. Negligence, we don't. I can do for day 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. You can contrast reasonable with malice or intent to harm. I want to do the thing. Whatever I do, I want to hurt you financially, psychologically. What? What? Reasonableness? Good faith. I don't intend to harm you. I want to teach you something. I do it because I must do it. Capriciousness. And precociousness is whimsical, unpredictable. Today is like you worse than the weather. Today you're up, tomorrow you're down. Later on the day is 2 o'clock in the morning. There's no standard where you it's consistent. It's predictable. The person come to you and say, "Sir, I've got this problem." Okay, you can expect that person will pay attention to you. Today you pay attention. Tomorrow you chase away. It's not that. The reason why you pay attention to what is reasonable is because the law talks about reasonableness and unreasonableness. There's also another thing that you must realize, that even if my actions were unreasonable, because the law says, Act says it must be unreasonable, but even if it was unreasonable, it still does not form harassment. The fact that someone acts unreasonable does not mean they are guilty of the Prevention of Harassment Act. Example is, very common example is, we hear many times politicians are found guilty of unreasonable decisions, irrational decisions, especially with regards to corruption. Unreasonable and unrational acted. But are they guilty of harassment? No. To be guilty of harassment, even an unreasonable and irrational action, does not constitute harassment. To be guilty of harassment, it must be connected and there must be harm. And without harm caused, the respondent is not guilty of harassment. And that is an extremely important thing to remember. There must be not only unreasonableness, but also harm. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please like and share this video, and please subscribe, and we love constructive comments and criticism.